And the last speaker is Muhammad Refdi Buamana. And from the opposition side, we have a team from UINMAE-Fest and UINMAE. The first speaker is Aludinda Mandalika. The second speaker is Zufratul Aini. And the last speaker is Muhammad Algir Ramadan. Okay, before we start the match, I'll give you the rules of the debate. Every speaker has 7 minutes and 20 seconds to deliver the argument, and 2 minutes to reply speaker. When the debate has been running in 1 minute, timekeeper will clap 1. It means POI is open. When the debate has been running in 6 minutes, timekeeper will clap twice. It means POI is closed. When the time is up or when the time is over, timekeeper will clap continuously. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start this debate. I'll invite the first speaker from the government team. Please welcome Ms. Regina Olivia Silda. Time is yours.
Please give them the table because they might need the table to put their papers.
Put it in the middle.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can I have my phone as the timer?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. So I'm the first speaker from the government team. My people pronounce me Shimper, and if you want to go, I just raise your hand. So I would like to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Right now, there's a trend that is trending around the internet right now that is called as Chitaya Fashion Week. As you know, the Chitaya Fashion Week is an event that's trending around the internet in Indonesia, where they do a fashion show like as an upper class people with participants of middle to low class people. And they did this event in the Sudirman Street. And a lot of people believe that this event has its own like positive and negative sides of it. But remembering that the way this event might consider having a positive side, but it is still overweight by the negative effects that the event has after it becomes trending or it becomes glorified by everyone. Looking at the way that it has a lot of negative effects, and at the same time, the characterization of the Chitaya Fashion Week is the way they are unorganized. It means that there are no committee or people that will be responsible for any problem that it causes. So in here, our stance as the government team is clear. It's not our stance as the government team is we do not regret this event, but we regret the trend of the Chitaya Fashion Week. So how to achieve our stance is we're going to implement it in our mechanism, which is we are not going to talk about this event in the social media. So we are not going to like promote it or make it become trending. So let's just say we let the event continue, but we don't glorify it. So the reason why we as the government team regret this trend is because as the trend goes by, it gives negative side for 2 stakeholders, which is the participants and the people out of the participants. So let's move on to my arguments. My first argument is why is it negative for the participants itself? Knowing that, first of all, because of this event happened, the way that this middle to lower people try to follow upper class, it creates some kind of like a consumptive consumptive behavior to the participants. The way that knowing that they are middle to lower class, they are like financially struggling to have money, but they like to follow the upper class standard or something like that. And because they have to like follow the standard, they spend a lot of their money to like for this event, knowing that they are actually financially struggling, so they can actually use this money for something more important, probably like their food or their education. But instead of utilize it in the right way, they use it and they waste it to follow this trend so that they can dress properly and following up the standard, so they can look like an upper class the way that a lot of people in this event do. And also the way that, as I already mentioned, the way that this event followed by a standard, these people, the participants, they are pressured to follow up the standard, and because they because they have to follow the standard, they have to waste a lot of money, as I already mentioned. And also, let's just say that because of the standard, they are like compared to an actual fashion week. For example, like a lot of people compare them to actual celebrities like maybe Nagita Slavina, or maybe compare them to even Milan Fashion Week, or Milan Fashion Week and them is a whole different thing. And because they kids compare, a lot of people in the social media likes to bully all the participants in this event, and because of the bullying that they receive from the people in the social media, it affects their mental health really bad. And by that, this trend isn't only like become unbeneficial for their money or financial, but also for their mental health, because they keep getting bullied, and at the same time they have to follow up the standard. And not only that, the way that most of the participants in this event are underage. They are underage, and because of they have to follow this event at night, a lot of this underage unable to go home. Why? Because after the event already ended, a lot of them like miss the train to go home, and by that they have to sleep in the street. They have to sleep in the street, or maybe like an abandoned building and something like that, and they don't go home. And their parents are looking for them, but sadly it's hard for them to look for their children because they have no idea where are these children are sleeping right now. And not only the way that they don't go home, but they also don't go skipping school because of this trend, because of this event. And again, this is because of the trending of the Citayam Fashion Week. The way that a lot of people like to glorify it makes a lot of more and more underage kids try to show off themselves in this event. And because a lot of more kids try to following this event, there are more underage kids who skipping school and have wasting a lot of money because of the trend, because they want to follow the trend of Citayam Fashion Week. So in here we can see that by making this event as a trend, we are going to make more and more abandoned, and we're going to grow our generation, but because they cannot get a proper education, because they skip school and they have money, and their parents lost them out of nowhere. Like their parents have no idea where are they. So in here we can see the way that this event actually is super duper negative for the participants itself, and not for the participants, but also for the people out of participants. So let's move on to my second point, which is why is it negative for the people out of participants? The way that because of this trend, as you know that this trend happens in the Sudirman Street where they have to walk across the zebra cross, and then by that, because of there are a lot of people, since I already mentioned it's become trending, and they got a lot of really a lot of people in that event. It becomes really noisy out there, and not only noisy, they make a traffic in the Sudirman Street when they themselves actually have no permission to use the street. It's a public street, but at the same time they are bothering public activity to use the street because they want to use it as for their personal use. So in here you can see that the way that this trend have a lot of negative for the participants and even out of the people out of the participants. And the way, as I already mentioned, this Citayam Fashion Week are unorganized, because there is no committee that will be responsible for anything like that. No one is responsible for the kids, maybe for the people. So looking at the way that that is my comment, that's why we are dragging this event trend. Thank you.
7 minutes or 7 minutes 30?
We count we have a timer.
Are you, did you guys like contact since I say I'm the first speaker?
When you say one word, you better be time.
It's actually counted since I say 1 to 3. It should 1.
When you say one word,
I'm sorry, so you start the timer the moment she starts the speech, but when she only starts the introduction, actually you do not like start the timer.
okay, the first speaker from the government team has for the time 7 minutes and 36 seconds. And we move to the opposition team. The first speaker is Ms. Alu Dindawarika. The time is yours.
Okay, I'm the speaker of opposition. But I get to my argument. Okay, today our motion is this household ban 2 times a week, and this house regret 2 times a week. And before I get into my argument, I'll rebuttal something from opposition. They said use money to more important thing, but actually it is important thing for the participant of the Chitayan Pacific itself, because from this event they can to expression themselves, and it of course that is important thing for know who they are or know what happened in themselves, and to show themselves to the other people, to show that this I am. And to say just now they said it spent a lot of money to join that trend, but actually the Chitayan Pacific it also can bring for the participant of this event can get money from this trend, because you know that the event has the organizer to give them some gift when they have win of this event. And they said also just now, when the participant join this trend, they can to go home. But actually, it will become a new experience for the participant to find something new for their life, because they not just stay at their host. This is one of their solution to find to feel free, because in their host we believe that there is something that happens, so that's why they do this trend to feel free, to remove their stress. And they also say if they join this trend, they come to keeping the school. But actually, the education not only get from the school, the education also can get from this trend. Like they can, what I see this now, they can do expression themselves, and it not need much money. It not need expensive thing to expression themselves. Just use what at their self they have. And they said also it will bring noise, and it will bring crowded for the society. But actually, we know that the society also joining on this trend. So the participants of this trend not just bring negative effect, but also bring a positive effect. Because when there is the crowded, it will attempt many curtain of part that will bring a good impact, like will bring attention to get pronounced. Okay, let me go to my point. My first point is the place to expression their self-growth style. Just like what I said just now, when we expression ourselves, it don't need to use expensive thing. Just use what we have, that it's enough to expression yourself. Because as we know, the participant of the Chita Investment Week, majority is the teenager, and we know the teenager, it's time to know who we are, or you can say to know what happened in ourselves. Of course, we need to do some action to find ourselves. One of the way is to expression ourselves. We mean for show to the other people who we are, and with this, when the participant can be creative to think, to prove that it's me that can be different with the other people. For example, we use something or some clothes that we never see anymore, or interesting things that make ourselves happy, and of course it will remove our stress, and we also, like what I said just now, it's good impact for the participant who join the trend of the Chita Investment Week, so we don't need to regret the trend of Chita Investment Week itself. Okay, my second point is to get attention of public this time. Like what they say is now, when the Chita Investment Week is happen, it will bring crowded and noisy for people, and of course the people who know the crowded itself will curious with what happened to this place. We can see it will impact the people, mostly the public decide to see, and when the public decide have come to the place that children personally trend is happen, the public decide will bring some media that when the public decide bring the media itself, it will the participant of the trend of time person it will get the impact also, will get promoted, and when they get promoted, they will have to they will get many money, and it will bring good. The meaning they not only can throw or can lose their money, they of course also can to take the money from the event itself. That's all from me, and I support my member and I will try to continue by my second speaker. Thank you.
Okay, the first speaker from the opposition team has the time 6 minutes 32 seconds. And we move to the second speaker from the government team. The second speaker is Baik Chandika Gading Kirana. Time is yours.
To start the speech in 3, 2, 1. First, I'm going to divide my speeches into 2 sessions. First, rebuttals, and second is my arguments. First, rebuttals that I need to give to the opposition team is that they mention that it's okay to stand their mind on fashion because it is important for them, and also it is to express themselves. But actually, we are talking about the lower middle class, underage student that
that is still dependent on their parents and also have money from their parents because it is for school. It is for them to buy food at the cafeteria and also to buy like their primary needs like book and stuff. And because of this trend that is Chilean Fashion Week thingy, they started to starve themselves at school, and they ended up using their canteen money to buy like clothes that they can hardly like afford, and also they end up spending it more to the clothes, and they don't care about their education anymore. They are more willing to care about their appearance. And also second reason, second rebuttal is that they said that people in the Chilean Fashion Week can generate money, but actually it's actually incomparable to the amount of money they actually spend. The amount of money they can get is actually like incomparable to the amount of money that they spend on their fashions, on their clothes, and on their stuff, and on their outfit, and etc. And also they said that it is okay for them to like go home late at night, so that it's a new experience for them somehow. But how can you justify children underage coming home late as new experience, and also like letting their parents being scared like, where is my children, like that? That is not a new experience that you should have at such a young age. That is actually like a very problematic experience that you can have when you are literally growing. And also that you said that it's okay that they skip school because they can actually have educations in the street. I don't understand this because you cannot compare street education to a school education, because you know, you get your degrees in school education, and the one that you're going to use for work is the school education, and that is your main priority as a student. And also they mentioned that you can express yourself. This is the time when you express yourself, and also for you to find out who you are. But actually there's so many ways that you can express yourself, such as you can join a competition instead, or you can join a competition instead of skipping school, to join a trend that is no one is organized and unsupervised, that is very scary, and no one knows who in that event. And also because this is an actual competition, you can actually get so much benefit that you can also like express yourself. And also again and again they said that you can generate money, but actually only 1 in 10 people or something that actually can get paid, because this is not some real fashion show competition that gives real work to their participants. And because of these reasons, their points are invalid. So moving to my argument is how this Chilean Fashion Week is harming the environment and people surrounding it. Okay, Chilean Fashion Week is great, but the trend makes it regretful. Okay, there's 3 reasons for this. First reason is that the inclusion of littering due to the lack of supervision. Like my first speaker has mentioned, that these events are unorganized or just happens by itself without some organization or without some committee in it. And because of these reasons, no one is literally watching the place and like keeping people making people like pay attention to their trash and stuff like that. You compare this with a real event that have a committee that is usually like letting people to like if you want to throw your trash, you can go here, and if you want to go there, if you want to like they actually like provide that for you, right? But because this is an unorganized event, they don't have that. They don't have that benefit, and because of that, people just throw their litter everywhere. For example, Sudirman Street is so packed with litter. It's actually very concerning for the environment and for everyone that lives there. And due to the people who is coming there just for the trend and without minding their behavior. Also, the second reason is that the amount of security risk that is in the event. As I mentioned before, again and again, this event is unorganized. There's no committee, there's no one to protect this place, no one to keep this together, no one to even, compare this to a New York fashion, or compare this to a fashion week that is happening as an event. There's people that will check who is going to participate in this event. There's people who do registrations, but in this event there is no such thing. So when you're gone in this place, you're gone. when something happens, when there's something dangerous happening to you here, which is most likely to happen because there's no security at all, then it will happen to you. Worst case scenario, you will get kidnapped, and the fact that most of the people that participate in here is underage student that is just doing this because of the trend from their friends and etc. And also third reasons why we regret this so much is because it is bothering the people surrounding. How can you say that it will not bother other people when there's like a pool of people there creating so many noises, creating traffic and etc. So that is why it's really regretful, because it is not like the true event that have like a committee that usually a real event like book the place first and mention the people around it about, oh, we're going to make a certain event here for a period of time. But here there's no period of time, so it keeps on happening, which is bothering everyone that lives there. And also comparison, we have every possible reason to regret the trend from endangering the participant to harming the environment and also the people surrounding it. And also that we are the only one who answer what the main questions of this motion, which is while providing proof why we are regretting the trend of Chitai Fashion Week, while being very reasonable and very honest with you that this is not all rainbows and butterflies, and that is why we're begging to propose. Thank you.
The center speaker from the government team has for the time 7 minutes and 7 seconds. So we next to the second speaker from the opposition team. She is Ms. Zumratul Aini. Time is yours.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the second speaker of our section. I would like to bring our argument. But before that, I want to rebut the point of government. For the first is, they say this now, it will make the society will better and make the society will be easy board and they leave the SME itself. But as we know together, it can make the society will be interest and will be more like to the lesson itself, and it can make them like to watch and can make them to happy because there is some passion Chitai Week itself. And for the second is it can make them sleep on the street because come to the home and the car will leave them. But as we know together, because they stay there through the Fashion Week itself, they can express themselves, like my first speaker said just now, they can express themselves because it's their skill. It's their skill. So that's why they will get much money because of the fashion itself. Going to my argument, for the first is like my first speaker said, it can increase, it can make the people will expression themselves by the style. As we know together, many children doesn't have any job, or we can say that they don't have education. So from the person itself, they can increase their skill, not just from education only, but so that they also want to be a famous or have a best from themselves. So from that passion also, they can use by the Chitai Fashion Week itself to show their skill by the style fashion itself. So from there also, they can increase their economy from the parents themselves, not just spend the money. It's like they say this now they will spend parents' money. But from the person itself, when they do the person itself, they can get many likes from society, and they will get much money because they have
to make the society or the watcher or the viewer are happy. And also, the second point is can increase the onset UMKM. As we know together, many onset UMKM in our country, so that when the Children Fashion Week, they said they will spend a lot of money and sleep on the street and come to go home. We tackle down this point by saying that they don't, although they don't or they come to go home, they can use their time for do the fashion week tackle again. So from there, they don't like to do the fashion week and they can sell to the society. So that's from our replay, from my replay. Thank you.
Whereas the speaker from opposition team has the time to read and 11. Now we move to the speaker from government team. Please welcome to Ms. Regina Olivia Srega. Time is yours.
Can I know the time?
3 minutes.
4.
4.
I would like to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. As the representative of the government team, I would like to explain what is happening in our debate. So right now we are debating about a motion. This House regret the trend of Children Fashion Week. So the main question in this debate is whether or not we are going to regret this trend or not. And we as the government team, we already said clearly that we are going to regret it. We are going to regret the trend of this event. And we already answered all the questions from this debate, which is why is it justified to regret the trend, which is we already mentioned the way that this trend giving a lot of negative values and negative effects to the participants and to the people are the participants, to all of the stakeholders in this case. And also we already answered the question of how are we going to do it, how are we going to regret the trend of Children Fashion Week, and we already said by giving our mechanism, which is we don't talk about this event in social media. We are not going to talk about it or promote it or something like that. So I would like to explain more about opposition team. As the opposition team already gave us a lot of some of the rebuttals to us, but in here I would like to state that as we can see that all of the speakers from the opposition team, which is the first speaker, the second speaker, and the third speaker, all of them have the same rebuttals. It means and all of their rebuttals are also already been tackled down by my second speaker and my third speaker. It means that even though they say like they already tackled down our arguments, but actually all of our arguments are still standing because we already defend all of the rebuttals that they give. So all of our arguments is still standing. Whether a lot of their arguments, or maybe we can say like almost all of their arguments are not standing because we already tackled down all of them and they cannot defend any of them because they can giving the same rebuttals and no defense at all. So it is already clear why we as the proposition team is upper hand in this debate, right? And also looking at the way that the opposition team is so one-sided in this case, the way in this debate, the way that they keep mentioning about the good or the positive way, the way they express themselves and something like that. But looking at the way all of their invalid positive sides is already tackled down by us, and they are also one-sided, only looking at the shining rainbows part of this event of this trend, but not looking at the ground reality of this trend. But we as the opposition team, the proposition team, in here we are becoming realistic. We show you guys we give you guys the ground reality of how bad this trend is, while the opposition team is only giving the narrative of possibility. So they are only making all of this hypothetically, meaning that all of the positive sides that they are talking about is still not happen and cannot be justified. And also one of the negative sides of the opposition team is the way that they are neglecting the kids' education and the safety of the kids or underage people. The way that they give negative values, such as the way that justify the kids who skip school or maybe skip education, and they also justify one of the most negative values of a kid, which is maybe they justify the way this kid taking a dangerous way to express themselves. It is good for, but they keep mentioning what they want to express themselves, and it is true. We don't regret it. We don't say that they cannot express themselves, but we say that they can express themselves through the other way. So in here we can see that we as the group of students outside of the house already give a better solution for the problem that is the student kept mentioning about. And also the way that they give like no example and also to being one-sided, showing that the way that our side of the house, which is the government team, are upper hand in this debate, and we believe that we are going to win this debate. Thank you.
The speaker of the government team has set a time 4 minutes and 19 seconds.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ESC debating competition. I am as moderator will handle this debate. But before that, I would try to introduce the teams first from the government team and from the opposition. And from the government team, we have M.A. Sezayudin and Anjani, where the first speaker is Ms. Alu, the second speaker is Ms. Zumratul, and the third speaker is Mr. Aljet. And from the opposite side of the house, we have O drinking water, yes, where the first speaker is Ms. Saila and the second speaker is Terry, and the last speaker is Patrick. With our motion today is this house prepares parenting models that adultify teenagers, in example, giving them more responsibilities and autonomy, assuming higher capacity for independence to those which emphasize their status and treatment as teenagers, in example, refraining from giving them adult responsibilities emphasize they are legal minors. But before that, I would like to tell you the rules of the debate. The first one is every speaker has 7 minutes and 20 seconds to deliver the argument and 3 minutes to replay the speaker. And second one is when the debate has been running in 1 minute, the timekeeper will clap once. It means POI is open, and when the debate has been running in 6 minutes, the timekeeper will clap twice. It means POI is closed, and after the time is over, the timekeeper will clap continuously. So guys, are you ready? Let's invite the first speaker of the government team. Please welcome Ms. Alu. Time is yours.
I, as the government of this house, okay, today our mission is this house prepares parenting model that adultify teenagers, give them more responsibility and autonomy, assuming higher capacity for independence to those which embrace their status and treatment as teenager. I praise for giving them adult responsibility and praising they are legal winners. Okay, as we know in this era, is developed era. Every people must become more adult to face the situation. Moreover, for teenager, because as we know, teenager is the time to change from the children become an adult. We can't just give them something from the parent because they need to be adult, and of course, because they will become adult. The teenager are time to show who they are, but the parent here must give their children adult responsibility so that the children come to face the future with the strong mental, because the parent need to give them more attention. Even in important, the parent just must give the children professional attention. So the goal of this motion
to make the children can to face the future situation and can to solve their problem by themselves. So here we prepare the parenting model, the adult teenagers. Okay, we give the responsibility of adult teenager professional. We mean as they need, like, not for forbid them, or we can say let them do something by themselves. So as whether or not we prepare parenting model the adult teenager to those which embrace their status and treatment as a teenager. So here we have a mechanism to solve the problem. The parent needs to educate or change the technique of parent educate the children with parenting model that adult teenagers. That is, first, give the teenager more responsibility to do their obligation and to solve their problem by themselves. But the parent just have little things that the children doesn't know. And second is giving the children right to do something what they want to do, but of course the parent need to see or control that what they do in order to can bring good impact for themselves. Okay, getting to my argument. My first point is to make the children can to stand alone. Here, as you know, giving the responsibility to the children will make them can to stand alone. So in the future, if there is a problem, they can easier to solve the problem, because before that they have to meet with the problem. Because when they still with their parent, they still need help from their parent, so they can't solve their problem. And when we give the responsibility to the children to do something that the children will come to solve their problem by themselves, like what I say just now, it will make them to come to stand alone. And step by step in the future, when there is problem that come into the children, they can easier to solve it because they have, like what I said just now, that have experience to the problem that what they get. So and like what I said just now, when we give the children or the teenager obligate to the responsible to do something, they can get their right for the teenager, because like what I said just now, the teenager is time for show their self. They will set this iron, and it's when the parent not give them to do something what they want, it will bring bad effect for the teenager, like stress, and of course no parent will want that happen to their children. So here we give them adult responsibility to the children that to do what they want, so that they feel free to express themselves. But we as a parent also need to control the children what they do, even that is good. But the parent also needs to control what the children do. So here we agree that reverse parenting model that anticipate teenager. That's all for me, and everywhere around the time I support my team. Thank you.
Well, the first speaker from the government team has spent the time 5 minutes and 47 seconds. Let's welcome the first speaker from the opposite team. Please welcome Miss Shaila.
I'm President Rashi, and I'll be speaking in 3, 2, 1. So first of all, I will bring a few things from our opponent's side before myself. I'm a little bit confused on what do you say is giving them anatomy or trying teenager, some of your points a little confusing. You said that children should be individual and they should do things by themselves, teenager. But you also said that parents should control what they do. And now I'll go into I'll be going to my debate. First of all, teenagers are not adults, and they are not prepared to be one. They're not prepared to be one today. We can see that many teenagers are prone to huge responsibility that they can't comprehend, and even lost their childhood. I have 3 points. What we support? We support the freedom of teenagers to explore themselves and their individuality because they are young and still growing. Second, how it look on our side of the house. On our side of the house, every teenager has the chance to grow up, not giving too much responsibility, so they could have time to develop and grow as an individual themselves. Third of all, mechanism. By parents not giving them too much responsibility, it allows the children to find activities that they enjoy, allow them to discover themselves, their hobby, and even grow as a person. Rebuttals. Here the things the opponent said is every children need a strong mentality, but a strong mentality can be achieved on our side of the house by kids doing things on their own, discovering themselves. They be more confident in what they want, what they know, and in their own skills and ways. Second of all, parents need to educate their child to solve problems by themselves. By not giving them too much responsibility, they'll know what more to do by themselves. By giving them less responsibility, in fact, it will make them even more independent themselves. And now to my points. This house believes that the institution of this house we want to give birth to a new, healthier individual of teenagers who are mentally stable, have a fulfilling childhood, and fully express self. Reason one takes on our side of the house is better. First of all, big responsibility is bad for the teenager. Big responsibility lead to anxiety, self-crisis, and depression. And teenagers are not ready. They can make terrible choices due to their hormones and many conditions of themselves. They are pushed by trend, they are pushed by peer pressure from their friends. So responsibility is a hard thing for them to handle. And any slight mistakes could be something that the parents needed, but the children can't control. They're still children and they are legally minor. Second of all, they have a lot of things going on. They have school, self-crisis, and hormonal changes. Many things are changing in their life and they still haven't had a grasp in it or a control of it. They're still trying to grasp back the control in their life due to the many changes that is happening. But the only thing that the parents are doing is by giving them more responsibility, giving them less of a control over their life. This thing can lead them to many stress and giving them more than they can handle. This can cause depression that stays to their adulthood and could even be problematic like depression. This even may go to their adulthood when they feel like they have no control over their own life. Third, teenagers are still kids and they need childhood and freedom. They make mistakes, they're emotional and they need help more than anyone right now. Children right now need a lot of help and not responsibility. They need to be given break and a space for themselves to grow as a person. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
The first speaker from the opposition team has spent time 4 minutes and 3 seconds. So let's invite the second speaker from the government team. Please welcome Ms. Suraka.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the second speaker of government team. I would like to deliver my argument. But before that, I want to rebuttal the point of opposite team just now. They said that the teenagers that given responsibility and autonomy from the parent is not have not ready to get it. But as we know together, if we want to give them responsibility, we have to try from the first in order it can become ability in the next future. And the second point of opposite team, they said they have a lot of schools, so that they come to get the responsible from the parent. And as we know together, so that's why the parents should to give the responsible in order by the consent of the parents, in order they can be more know what is happening in the next future for their school and for their life. And going to my argument, as like my first speaker said just now, it can when the parents are giving more responsibilities and autonomy to the children, it can make can make the children can solve the problem by themselves. Why we say that? Because when the parents are giving their responsibilities and or autonomy to their children who are teenagers, it's a method of their parents to make and train the children to be more, and when they have a big problem in their life, they can solve it. And the second point of our team is can accustom themselves to think logical. It means that when they have obligation, they can use their mind to think logical and adultery. So that's why by the think logical, they can, it's like what I said is now, they can solve their problem and they can help the parents of the and it can make the strong mental with the children. It means that when the parent giving responsibility or autonomy to the children, it can make the children because have training the mental from the first. So that's why when they have become adult people, they can have a strong mental. It's like my first speaker said this now. And for the last point is for giving the children free to what they want to do and by the parents' control. It means when the parents are giving responsibility and autonomy to the children by their control, the parent can see what the children want to do. And in here we give them responsibility, right? So that's why when we give them responsibility, what they want to do, they can do, and they know who are they. So that from there, so that's why we choose and we agree with this motion when the parents are giving adulting responsibility to the adulting teenagers, giving the responsibility and autonomy by the control. That's all from our argument, and I will always support my team. Thank you.
Well, the second speaker from the government team that has spent the time 3 minutes and 36 seconds. So let's welcome the second speaker from the opposition team, Mr. Kelly.
I'll be speaking in 3, 2, 1. So, good day. I'm gonna be representing my team. I'm gonna be representing the second speaker of the opposing team. Now, before I start, I wanna rebuttal against the government. Now, what the second opponent said, children are to be forced into getting a new responsibility, and they have to think logically. Now, if you think logically, by forcing a lot of responsibilities to the child, the children, the teen, it would only lead to a disorder. Let's just say there's a teenager still acting as if he was a child with the same responsibilities, school, house, and small problems, etc. Now, to give them a bigger responsibility and much more than what they already have, the teenager, this child, what they say, will have the mentality of a bad behavior. For example, when a teen makes a mistake, mistakenly thinking he had failed their responsibility, failing to meet the expectation of what its parents has provided. Now, and will be afraid to be false or wrong in the near future, or call it anxiety. Anxiety is a very bad thing for a teenager to inhibit because, for example, you'll be very scared of every move you will make. one wrong move and you think you're the wrong. Now, going into my argument. Now, I'm going to explain it bit by bit now. Once a minor enters into a teenage phase, hormones are produced at a rapid pace. They already have lots of responsibilities. Teenagers does a lot of studying during school days, and they have household responsibilities, be it house chores or school homework. Teenagers also more prone to depression, according to studies. Now, what other ways to lead teenagers into a mentality of adulthood? Well, let's just say give them a clear vision of what they will become. Show them the true meaning for aspects they've yet to know. How to give them a clear vision, you may ask. Now, explain to them how yourselves got into that adulthood. Now, it would be ludicrous to suddenly introduce them into a new lifestyle they have to inherit. They have to learn that behavior slowly, bit by bit. If you force them suddenly, the only thing you're getting is a disabled child with a mentality disorder. And that's it for me.
Second speaker from the opposition team that has spent the time 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Let's invite the third speaker from the government team. Please welcome Mr. Al-Jim.
Okay, I'm as the speaker from the government team. I would like to give an argument. Okay, as we know together, children must grow up and under supervision of the parents, but how if we allow the children to stand alone? If the children can stand alone, the parents will not to slow down the parents, and the children can solve the problem by themselves. Why we say that? Because like my second speaker said, when the parents are giving their responsibility or autonomy to their teenagers, it's a matter how to make train the children when they have a big problem in their life and can accustom themselves to think logical. It means that when they have a problem, they can use their mind to think logical, and step by step, the children will be good teenagers and they must can stand alone. And in order to make the children have strong mental, when the children are free to what they want to do by the parents control them, that means the children can express themselves to what they want, and step by step can find this skill, and the parents can support the children. Can control that means by themselves, but when the parents are giving their responsibilities autonomy to their teenagers, it's a matter to make sure train the children when they have a big problem in their life and can accustom themselves to think logical. It means that when they have an obligation, they can use their mind to think logical, think more logical than before. That's all my argument, and I'm ready to support the team.
The last speaker from the government team that has spent the time 1 minute and 56 seconds. So let's invite the last speaker from the opposition team, Mr. Patrick. That is yours.
Hello, I'm the third speaker from my team, and today I would like to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. First of all, I would like to respond to I would like to give an intro. On our side of the house, we believe that giving more responsibilities to a teen is a horrible way of parenting, as it could block finding out and exploring their own mentality, and it could lead to depression and self-crisis and anxiety. First of all, I would like to respond. I would like to review against Speaker 1. Like what my team had said, by not letting the child exploring themselves, they are more likely to fail and fall. Like what my team had said, my teammates had said, by giving teens bigger responsibilities, that is a horrible way of parenting, as that could block out finding out about themselves and finding out about what they want to do in life. Secondly, The first speaker also said that the child has to stand alone. I find this completely false. I find this completely false. Since humans are socialized, are a social being, so they have to be together. Secondly, the second speaker said that. Secondly, I would like to review against the second speaker. The better way to achieve the better way to achieve and find stronger mental is by letting the teenagers find out what they want to do by themselves, learning from their mistakes, and finding out themselves what they want to be. I think that's it for my speech today. Thank you very much.
The last speaker from the opposition team has spent time 1 minute and 33 seconds. So let's invite the replaced speaker from the opposition team, Ms. Michaela.
Alright, I was thinking in 3, 2, 1. So as your replies speaker first, I'm going to be giving some of my rebuttals. First of all, the government said that teenagers need responsibility to know their future. But if a parent does this to show them the future for their teenagers, it will just show a very grim image of the future. Like your future is filled with responsibility, job, task is not going to be great for you. But such it only be giving the teenager a dark image in their head. But by not giving them responsibility, by softly bringing them to adulthood, you can develop a much more developed individual and even mentally healthy teenager. Second of all, with responsibility, they can actually model growth. Like my team said, the model growth can even be developed without responsibility. They can make a mistake and etc. And they could grow as a person and even have love of themselves. It doesn't require responsibility. Secondly, strong mental. This is what the government keeps saying over and over again. But like our team has said, strong mentality can be had in many other ways. Learning from their mistake, growing as a person, and knowing what you want, knowing who you are, and knowing the person you are, and help you stand as a person and as an individual in life. And this is why our argument wins. First of all, the mental health in our side of the house is much better because without the heavy responsibility of adulthood in an already difficult teenager life, the teenager could still grow and walk their way to adulthood. Second of all, teenagers will grow better as an individual with freedom. Freedom is something teenagers need. They need it as a safe place for them to learn what they like, learn what they want, learn about themselves, and even future life. In conclusion, teenager is not an adult. They shouldn't be treated as such, and they shouldn't be given the responsibility of adult. They should be treated as who they are. They should be given the freedom to discover themselves, and the large amount of responsibility is only distracting them from such. That's all I got to say. Thank you very much.
The replaced speaker from the opposition team that has spent time 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So let's invite the replaced speaker from the opposite government team. Let's please welcome Miss Abu Adisius.
Okay, I'm a replaced speaker of the government of this house. I will tell you what happened in this debate. We as a government of this house prepare parenting model that adult teenager to make children can to face the future situation with strong mental and solve their problem by themselves because they will be adult. Like what the opposition team said, they always say not ready or close to face to become to get the much obligate. But I with my second speaker have been tackled down their point by saying that they will become adult. How could they just need help from their parent? Because the teenager has not a child again. Teenager is the way their process for change from the children become an adult. So here when we not give the responsibility to the teenager, what will they get in the future? And when we not give the responsibility to the children, to the teenager, they will
they will feel nothing obligate and will not do the obligate itself. Here, the opposite, they not touch my point. That is, the teenager that come to solve their problem, easier because we have obligate the children. We have obligate the teenager by the adult obligate. So we believe that here we are the winner. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next speaker from the government team has spent time 1 minute and 56 seconds. So this debate is running well, guys. Thank you and keep waiting for you all.
We may wait outside while giving time to the second. Today, I'm as moderator, I will handle this debate. But before we start this debate, I'll introduce the team first. From the government side of the house, we have a team from UINMAE-Fest as a team. The first speaker is Miss Alu Dinda Mandalika. The second speaker is Miss Zumratul Aini, and the last speaker is Mr. Muhammad Aldia Ramadan. And from the opposition side, we have a team from Senior High School to Matram as a team also. The first speaker is Miss Hadidah Barasitu Soleha. The second speaker is Bayi Elda Trimulia, and the last speaker is Alhena Attila Hendra. And our mission today is this house will proportionately subsidize, for example, scholarship and funding university courses according to employability of their graduates. But before we start the match, I'll give you the rules of the debate. Every speaker has 7 minutes and 20 seconds to deliver the argument, and 3 minutes to replace speaker. When the debate has been running in 1 minute, timekeeper will clap 1. It means POI is opened. When the debate has been running in 6 minutes, timekeeper will clap twice. It means POI is closed. And when the time is up or when the time is over, timekeeper will clap continuously. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's start this debate. I'll invite the first speaker from the government team. Please welcome to Miss Alu Dinda Mandalika. Time is yours.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I was the first speaker of government team. Okay, our mission today is this household professional to subsidize, for example, scholarship and funding university course according to the employability of their graduates. Here, I get a background. As you know, giving scholarship to the student will become one of the solutions to break the chain of poverty. Or you can say, scholarship is the government's effort to improve superior human resources which ultimately contribute to reducing poverty so that poverty is realized. And with the law of Indonesia number 20, 2003, and one of the articles states that the provision of scholarship is one of the education financing instruments other than those allocated by the government through the APBN and APBD. Okay, about the definition, the scholarship or professionally subsidized scholarship, we give the full scholarship which finances during the learning activities such as accommodation costs, food costs, and suggestion for supporting learning infrastructure with the proportional as they need. Okay, here I bring the parameter for Indonesia. mostly countryside, and we give that depend on their level of school. For example, we give more for the senior high school than elementary school. I mean the level of school is higher, so we give scholarship more again. Okay, that's the skill. Nowadays in Indonesia, the support of government for scholarship sometimes not based on the place, like advantage for give scholarship or less give the scholarship or funding itself. Meanwhile, many people need scholarship for support their education. Even they give the scholarship, the government will bring more. Meanwhile, the people who more need the scholarship will not get the funding or scholarship itself. Okay, I get the problem. This less education, corruption, and high property case. Okay, to solve the problem, here we will give the selection to choose who will get the scholarship, and we will tighten the supervision of student admission and do the proportionately subsidized scholarship for all people, and also we must to make many employment, and we make the employment to get job after the student have success by the scholarship and funding itself, and directly give them job when they have finishing their studies. Okay, going to my argument. The first point is develop our country and educate abroad, and to make high our rank at the world. As you know, our rank, especially at education in the world, is last. That is the sixth last. It's so bad reputation that we have. Meanwhile, the Chinese people are many at our country, but the government actually don't make them to become one of the solution for make high our rank at education group. So here we want to give scholarship, but proportionately scholarship for the people who don't have money to continue their education, or the people who are smart and genius. I'm very sure that when we give the scholarship itself, it will bring good impact for our development. Yeah, like what I said just now, because it can bring our rank go high. Okay, my second point is make the student spirit for study and for motivation to other students for study hard. Okay, the good impact when we give proportionately subsidized scholarship is make student spirit for study. They have purpose what they will go forward. With scholarship, it also becomes to motivate people for study hard, and it will make high the grade of our country. Of course, that is good things. We can imagine when we have developed country and education board, it will pull up our rank and degree for our country. And when we have all of that, everything can easier to get, like teamwork, task with other country, and many other. That is big fortune for government to get many foreign exchange, and can to make many employment for more expense skill at the student itself. In brief, my 2 points mean to make our country become better with use education scholarship as tool for government to make develop our country and then with them. That's all from me, and everywhere and anytime and support my team.
Okay, thank you from the first speaker from the government team. First speaker from the government team has had a time 4 minutes and 38 seconds. Now we're next to the opposition team. Please welcome to Miss Hadijah Kaisatul Soleha. Time is yours.
I'm the first speaker of opposition. Please let me rebuttal the argument from the government. How about the student who have talented but can't have the opportunity because of society? Society has a moral obligation to make sure that all children receive an adequate education that gives them the skill needed to become contributing adults in society. This is also in society-based interest as it is a social waste if some children do not receive a good education. It means that human talent that could contribute to society are not nurtured as students have talent that grow through formal learning.
By failing to develop those talents, society loses opportunity for enrichment and progress. Further social waste is gained by the long-term social and financial cost of or for education. Scholarship provide financial support to students to help pay for a college degree. But even though that we give subsidies to university, not according to the employability of their graduate.
Hi, can you participate? Can you open the mask? I can't hear you.
Did I need to start from?
Yeah, I think you have to start over. It's a good
Oh, okay.
So sorry.
Please let me rebuttal the argument from the government. How about the student who have? How about the student who have talented but can't have the opportunity because of subsidies? Society has a moral obligation to make sure that all children receive an educated education that gives them the skill needed to become contributing adults in society. This is also in society-based interest as it is a social waste if some children do not receive a good education. It means that human talent that could contribute to society are not nurtured. All students have talent that grows with formal learning. By failing to develop those talents, society loses opportunity for enrichment and progress. Further social waste is gained by the long-term societal and financial cost of poor education. Scholarship provides financial support for students to help pay for a college degree. But even though that we give societies to a university not according to the employability of their graduates, it doesn't mean that we are not give society to a university that have a good quality of their students and graduates. For example, if there is a new university that have a good quality of their graduates, that means they already have a good quality education for them to produce more students who have excellence. Thank you, that's over. Thank you. The first speaker from the opposition team has had a time 1 minute and 90 seconds. Now we move to the second speaker from the government team. Please welcome Ms. Zumratul Aini. Time is yours.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the second speaker of government team. I would like to deliver my argument, but before that, I want to rebuttal the point of opposite team. Actually, last time when you said that your rebuttal and your point, it's not it's uncorrect with our point. My first speaker point. We said that we give the subsidized scholarship to the depend on the level of the school, not for the employability. And I want to answer your rebuttal. How about the student that have skill and talent? Actually, it's when we give the scholarship, we have to we have to give the student, and the skill also can increase their skill in that when they get the scholarship itself. And back to my argument. The provision of scholarship is one solution to break the chain of poverty. It can be interpreted that scholarships are government efforts to improve superior human resources, which ultimately contribute to reducing poverty, so that people's prosperity is realized. Actually, the few scholarships are only for the underprivileged is not quite right. According to the Big Indonesian Dictionary published by the government through the language agency of the Ministry of Education and Culture, the definition of scholarship is an allowance given to student or student as aid for study costs. From this understanding, it's clear that scholarships are financial assistance so that a student can participate in learning activities at a lower cost. Because it's aid, it means that scholarship can be obtained by anyone or given the different recipients as long as they meet the requirement to be able to get it. So in here we agree with this motion where the government of Indonesia, of our country, that give the scholarship to the students depend on their level of school by proportionately subsidized. Because it's one way for the government to break the chain. It's the first point of our team. It's the way of government to break the chain of poverty. As we know together, in our country, low economic background makes students unable to continue their education to college because the costs required to continue their education to college are expensive. Therefore, the government provides various facilities for underprivileged people who have achievements who want to continue their education in higher educations. The second point is it can reduce scholarship corruption. As we know together, the responsible person of scholarship often to abuse the cost of scholarship. So with the proportionately subsidized can reduce the corruption. They use the corruption use that scholarship for their interest and what they really did in their life. So that's why we give the proportionately subsidized in order no corruption. The third point is student tuition fees will be more efficient because the tuition fees have been financed by the government itself. And the fourth point is it's make the other student will be more diligent to study and deepen their every talent to get their best future. So it can make developing country in education because many of students are good in education and also can improve education ranks between countries. As we know together, the rank of our country in education in this world is really down. It happened because of the cost of Indonesia and Indonesia is cheap. We can compare with the other country or with the other developing country in education, they have an expensive cost for education. So that's why in here, as like I say just now, we give the student scholarship by proportionately subsidized. In order, when they have a success to get their education by the scholarship, the government, like my first speaker said just now, the government can give the employment to the student itself. So that's why they are, as the government of our country also, so to increase the cost of education by using scholarship. And when the students are success to get the best education between the country, they need to harm the talent and the government. It's like I said just now. And the government should to give them appreciation by providing employment. So from that employment, it can help our country become developing country in education, and everything will be easier to get by the skill of the student itself. That's all from my point. Thank you, and I will always support my kids.
Thank you, second speaker from government team. And the second speaker from government team has spent the time 5 minutes and 90 seconds. Now next to the second speaker from opposition team, that is Miss Baik Elda Mulya. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm the second speaker of the opposition team. Please let me, before going to my arguments, please let me rebuttal the arguments from the government team. So first, how can the government team give a scholarship while the first speaker of the government team said it will be subsidized? And how if the students doesn't get the scholarship because the cost of subsidized itself? And the second is, why the second speaker said that this scholarship across the countries, and the first said that this scholarship for only in Indonesia. And now run into my arguments. First, why we don't want to give this subsidized to university according to the employability of their graduates. It is because if we give proportionately subsidized university courses according to the employability of their graduates, it can lead to the injustice of education equality. Why? First, the started point is different. So there is a university that already have a good quality, and there is a university that is still lagging, and because of that we should give more portion to the university that's still lagging. Second, many people from the university that get the subsidized can use the help from the graduates or the alumni that we can say that they are use help from the insider when they want to get a job. So because of that, we chose to give the subsidized not according to the employability of their graduate, but we give it fairly to all university. So because of that, we should be more concerned to the university that are still lagging behind and doesn't have sufficient quality and give them bigger portion of their scholarship. Why it can be effective for our country? It is because when we give subsidized with more portion for the university that's still lagging, it can make them to catch up and improve the quality of education for students and their university. And every university will keep growing and improve their quality of the university that already have a good quality. So it's still fair for all the university, and that's why we as the opposition team will not give proportionately subsidized university courses according to the employability of their graduates. Thank you.
Thank you. The second speaker from the opposition team has 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Now we move to the last speaker from the government team. Please welcome to Mr. Muhammad Ali Ramadan. Time is yours.
Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
I'm as the third speaker from the government team. I will read my argument here. Strike to my argument. We can see Indonesia now, like my speaker said, in the sixth place of the bottom in the term of the education in the world. If we can be good education, our country can improve the ranking of education competition between countries that can make our country famous in terms of education. And for that matter, our country must give the scholarship proportionately and funding the smart and good student and have skill at every day skill. If we smart student, surely we got a scholarship that will make our country be better than before. And certainly at terms of education. And if there are so many smart students, they must have the employment opportunities according to their respective expertise. So that their talent are not wasted. It's a waste if we have talent, we can get a scholarship, but there are no jobs. And that's one of the reasons why percent of Indonesian students do not work according to their majors. We can say their skill and scholarship, it will be a bit of a waste. Example, you study literature but you work as a farmer. It's not connecting, right? And student will be more spirit for study. Like my first and second speaker said, scholarship will make students more diligent to study. Moreover, for students, they will be more spirit because they have shortcuts, so that they can learn for free and can achieve their goals. Example, now we are in training child of pedicab driver who successfully receives the LPDP scholarship. And remember, don't tell the scholarship as a place that can utilize it to corruption. Like example, now in Aceh, there is corruption case which also involved a number of parties and nearly 400 students who were potential suspects. So that's why we must give the scholarship according to proportionality, so as not to cause potential such as corruption and misuse of scholarship funds. Because of that, we must give the scholarship to the smart and good student and funding them and with the proportionality surely. And like my first speaker said, after the success of their majors and success to the scholarship, the government should give the employment be a proof of reward. That's all my argument. We support this motion, and I really support my team.
5 seconds. Now we move to the last speaker from the opposition team. Please welcome Mr. Alhena Atila Hendra. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm going to be the last speaker of this debate, and I'm going to be the opposite team. First of all, please let me rebut all the argument from the government team. So as we can conclude that government team only gives scholarship to the one who have a good grade weights, and this is injustice. Like we can see, how about the students who have talent but can't have the opportunity because they subsidize? How can the government team give scholarship while the first speaker of the government team said it will be subsidized? How if the student doesn't get the scholarship because the cost of the subsidize itself? The second one is why the second speaker said this is scholarship across the countries, and the first said that this is scholarship for only in Indonesia. Runs into the opposite team argument. The first speaker of the opposite team argument said that scholarship provides financial support for students to help pay for college degree. But even though that we give subsidized to university not according to the employability of their grade weights, it doesn't mean that we are not giving students subsidized to university that have a good quality of their student and grade weights. For example, if there is a university that have a good quality of their grade weights, that means already have a good quality education for them to produce more students who have excellence. Like the second speaker said, first, why we don't want to give a subsidized to a university according to the employability of their grade weights? It's because if we give proportionally subsidized university course according to the employability of their grade weights, it can lead to the injustice of education equality. Why? First, their start point is different, so the university that already have a good quality, and there is a university that is still lagging, and because of we should give more portion to the university that is still lagging. Second, many people from the university that get the subsidized are used to help from the graduates or the alumni that we can say that they are used help from the insider when they want to get a job. So, because of that, we choose to give the subsidized not according to the employability of their grade weight, but we give it fairly to all universities. So I'm the third speaker of the opposite team, really confident to win this debate, and that's all for me. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you from the opposition team. The last speaker from the opposition team has spent time 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And now we move to replay speaker. I'll invite the replay speaker from the opposition team. Please welcome to Baik El Jatri Mulia. Time is yours.
So I'm the replay speaker from the opposite team. So as we can conclude that government team only gives scholarship to the ones who have a good graduates, and this is injustice. So we choose to give the subsidized not according to the employability of their graduate, but we give it freely to our university. That's all from me. Thank you so much.
Government team, please welcome Miss Alu Dinda Mandalika. Time is yours.
Okay, I'm as the referee speaker of the government of this house. I will tell you what happened in this debate. Okay, because today is our mission. This house This household proportionally subsidized, example scholarship and funding university course according to availability of their graduates. Here the goal is to, like what I said just now, to make our country develop from the education. And I have said that I have, and my second speaker have said why we use the proportionality subsidize itself. First is to develop our country education board, and my second point is to make our students spirit for study and for motivation to other students for study hard. And then the government of the opposite team is now said talent what happened if the student have talent skills. We have said that we will selection the student who will get a scholarship. We meant that we will selection from the many side because we not mention they not touch, they not tackle down all my point. That is one of my point they not touch is about break the poverty chain. So my point and my team here still stand strong, and I believe we are the winners. Thank you.
Let me continue after answer. Since it has an entire point to the silence, and yeah, since it's silence round, so you're able to see the results after the fourth round. So yeah, you guys can do